Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever Afib patient experience live stream. I want to go live to possibly interact more with some of you out there who have a ton of questions for me. And hopefully in this live stream, I can answer a few of those questions. I prepared a couple slides to help me keep track of where I'm going. And also, if you are tuned in, don't hesitate to ask any questions or just say hi. So the reason, like I've kind of mentioned, I'd like to do a live stream is I get a ton of the same questions every day on my ablation video. The main question, and understandably, that people want to know is, am I still taking AFib meds after an ablation? So most of you who follow my channel know I had an ablation in 2021. And since that time, um, I made some AFib videos about my ablation experience, about my medications, about what caused my AFib, all kinds of things. And a ton of you have tuned in, so I thank you for that. I have tried to answer this question in several ways, by answering a lot of comments and also by addressing it in some of my other videos. But I'm hoping by addressing it here, by going live and hopefully getting some interaction from you guys, I can kind of clarify, am I still taking meds after my ablation? Before I answer that question, I'll go into just kind of what meds I took or have taken while I've been fighting AFib. The first meds I had taken was I saw my primary care doctor. This was in January of 2020. Although I'd been experiencing AFib for quite a while in 2019, I had no idea what it was. Finally got into my doctor during an AFib episode in January of 2020. I hooked me up to the EKG, and I remember him staring at me and looking and saying, "You have atrial fibrillation." And I could not believe it. I thought I was such a healthy person. At that time, that doctor, my primary care doctor, prescribed me um, metoprolol and baby aspirin. So luckily for me, I did not like how the metoprolol made me feel at all. I only took those medications for maybe a month, probably even a little less than that, before I saw my first cardiologist, electrophysiologist. At that time, he took me off of those medications and said those actually were not the right medications that I should be on. He also did a stress test on my heart, and interestingly enough, that day my heart was in perfect sinus rhythm. It looked great. He even looked at me and said, "Are you here for AFib?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he pulled up my chart, saw my EKG showing my AFib. And at that time, he prescribed me flecainide just to take as needed when I was having an AFib episode and not to regularly take every day. So that was my only medication for most of 2020. From January 2020, um, I continued to try and monitor my AFib using, or just with some lifestyle changes. I tried to be as healthy as I could, get my body weight as healthy as I could. I exercised a ton, and I took flecainide whenever I had an AFib episode. And to be honest, the flecainide did almost nothing for me. I would take it, and my doctor even increased my dose to take during the times I've had the AFib episodes. It did very little to help me at all. My AFib continued to come more often and longer episodes. So it was in January of 2021, I got into my electrophysiologist, let him know what was happening and how often I had been having AFib episodes, and he immediately put me on Eliquis and continued me with the flecainide. But he also said, "It's time for your ablation." So it wasn't even 2 weeks later. It was in February of 2021. I had the ablation. And so, sorry, I know the question is, am I still taking AFib meds? And I'm getting there. Um, so I had the ablation, and everything for me I was super fortunate, went really well. My body healed really good from it. I never had any AFib at all. But after the ablation, I know some people go in and out of AFib while the heart heals. I didn't have any of that. So in my follow-up checkups with the cardiologist, he allowed me to get off all AFib medications. No Eliquis, no flecainide, nothing. This was due to several things. I was younger, which unfortunately, a lot of people develop AFib as they get older. That's as our heart wears out a little bit. And so me being younger, I was just in my early 40s. I was extremely healthy, good body weight. I didn't have high blood pressure. I think it was a combination of all those things. He allowed me to get off my AFib medications, and I have been off them ever since. So that was in February of 2021, and it is June of 2024. I've had absolutely no AFib since then and not taken any AFib medications. I know that's what a whole lot of you want to have happen out there. So best of luck to you. Definitely ask your doctor, because it'll be up to them. They'll know your medical history, everything about your medical procedure, everything that you have done, and they'll know if you'll be able to get off your AFib medications or not. But you definitely need to check with them. All right, we'll move on to the second question. I won't be as long-winded on this one. Um, but this one I've been getting a lot recently. I didn't get this one early on, but why did I have a catheter inserted in my neck? Um, I'm getting this from a lot of you out there who have recently had an ablation and they only put catheters in your groin, which is awesome. I had 3 catheters. I had the one in my neck, you can see in that picture. I put another picture here, and they had 2 down there in my groin. That's kind of a scary picture to put on the internet, but it doesn't show anything. It just goes down kind of right there to where those catheter sites were. But the answer is, I don't exactly know why he chose to do that on me. I think it was, and I have no evidence to support this, but just from hearing stories from you all and some people I've known who recently had ablations, who had them in the past. In the past, they had the catheters inserted in their groin and neck, just like I did. And then they recently had a second ablation, and the doctor only put it in their groin. So I'm wondering if it's possible doctors are using the neck insertion site less often, but I don't know. I did a little research I'll get to in just a second. And also, I will tell you, there's my catheter insertion sites on my groin. I will tell you that I did ask an electrophysiologist this exact question. I asked him why sometimes they only use the groin, sometimes the neck. And his only answer was, you just need a good vein to the heart. So, which kind of makes sense. I looked up this article from Cleveland Clinic, which I think is a pretty great reputable source. Where is the catheter inserted for cardiac ablation? In most cases, your provider inserts the catheter into a large vein or artery in your groin. Sometimes providers choose to use a vein in your arm or neck instead. Your provider will decide on the best location based on your anatomy and condition. So there you have it. It's basically up to your provider. Another great question to ask your doctor. For me, I had 3, 2 in the groin, 1 in the neck. And the last question I get a ton of is, where did I have my ablation? And that was in St. Mark's Hospital in Salt Lake City, Utah. And my doctor was Dr. John Day. Great electrophysiologist, super easy to talk to, answered all my questions. Awesome guy. So I've been very fortunate. I have no follow-up scheduled with him right now. He just wants me to monitor my heart, probably like a lot of you, using my Apple Watch. And as long as I have seen no Afib or any signs of it, I can just continue staying away, which is awesome. I know some of you who've been following my channel know I've had some other medical issues this past year, which has been terrible, but through it all, I haven't had to worry about my Afib. My heart has been in perfect sinus rhythm. So that has been awesome. So that's all the questions I have. If you know, I do feel bad if any of you reach out to me in my videos. I really have tried to get caught up and answer your questions through answering your messages on YouTube. But I did get an influx of them for a while, and I haven't been able to get caught up. As a lot of you know, I got appendiceal cancer last year, which completely came out of the blue, just as Afib did for me. Like I turned 40 and I fell apart. And I'm continuing to fall apart. But my point was that I got way behind on answering messages because I didn't do anything on YouTube, or I had to shut down for a while I was treated for appendiceal cancer. But I'm going to give you a little health update on that. First off, atrial fibrillation, we kind of talked about that. I have been Afib free since my ablation, which was in February of 2021. Heart's doing great. I can do all the things I could do before I had Afib. I'm an avid mountain biker, hiker. I love to fish. I stay very active in the outdoors. I'm able to do that now and not take any medications. I know I'm very lucky that that's my case, but that is my Afib update. Appendiceal cancer. So last June, almost exactly 1 year ago, I have a lot of stomach pains. I had some injuries in my stomach, feeling really full, and I thought I had a hernia. The doctor did a CT scan, and they found a cystic mass on my appendix. So long story short, I had multiple surgeries, including a 9-hour surgery in September where they rinsed my insides with chemotherapy. And so far, everything has gone as well as it could be expected. I just recently had a CT scan. I'm doing 4 of them this year to make sure it's not coming back. And the initial read of the CT scan, not from my cancer doctor at the Cancer Institute, but of the general doctor who read the scan. From what he wrote and my interpretation of it, it looks pretty good. But I am waiting for my doctor, hopefully this week, hopefully tomorrow, will get back to me and let me know her thoughts on that scan. But honestly, I'm feeling really well. I did have, like I mentioned, that 9-hour surgery. I spent 5 days in the hospital. I was super weak, but you know, I've been recovering from that, and I'm again just today I went mountain biking, and I'm staying super active. So things are good. I do have the question mark there by my appendiceal cancer health update, but I think things are going well, and I actually feel really good. Just a little bit about my life. You know, I have married to my beautiful wife, and I have an awesome son. Just the three of us. You know, my wife and I were married later in life, and you know, we were so lucky to have our son, and we just love him. We take him on all kinds of adventures. Just this weekend, we got back. Actually, last week we were down in Arches National Park down in southern Utah. You can see one of the pictures on there with the balanced rock behind us. Um, you know, my son plays baseball. I love to fish. That's me in my kayak fishing. We try and do all kinds of adventures. I just love being outside. I love being in nature, and you know, everything's going well. I'm able to do all those things again despite my medical hardships. You know, that's all I have today. You know, if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm definitely doing a lot better at getting back to people. And also, I plan on maybe doing these live streams a little more. So I'll try and schedule them out in advance. And if you want to jump on, ask me some questions, interact with me, just say hi. I would love that. And last, thank you. You know, this channel, I have so many viewers out there who've given me so much support, and you guys are so kind. That's one thing I love about this channel, about Afib, is, you know, reading through the comments. It's kind of a little community, and everybody is so kind to each other. You can look at other YouTube channels; people are so mean, but it's not the case with you know, my Afib videos. You guys are so kind. You answer each other's questions. You're so supportive. You know, Afib sucks, and people struggle with it. So it's awesome to be able to post a question, get people to respond. So keep that up. And also, like I said, I do plan on doing these live streams a little more. I think I'm going to start liking it. Hopefully I'll do better. And hopefully some of you will tune in and comment, and we can have some interactions in the future. But I'll end it there. Again, thank you so much for everything. I hope you are all doing well. Oh, hey, buddy. How are you? Yeah, trucking with the Burks. I've actually been on a live stream with my buddy up there. I'm doing well. How are you? Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Oh, good to hear. I'm glad you're doing well. Appreciate the comments, everybody. No AFib still. That's awesome to hear. That's awesome. Okay, I appreciate everybody. Thanks for reaching out. Take care. I will be back doing another live stream soon. If you have any questions, let me know. Take care, everybody. Good night.